Jay, welcome to Fans United. Obviously, you are in South Carolina in the US. Time difference has been tough. We've been trying to do this call a few times. We're finally going to get you on the show. Tell us a bit about what you do, mate.
Yeah, mate, look forward to it. Thanks for having me on. So at the minute, I am director of an MLS club. They play in the highest league in America on the boys' side. I oversee U13 through U19 at that club, and then kind of try and see how we can grow that in terms of what they do on the field and off the field, and then hopefully pushing them kids onto the next level.
Decent. And you said it's the highest level of youth soccer out there. So you compare that to what, the academy level over here?
Yeah.
All right. So what is your club called?
Tormentor FC.
So Tormentor's first team compete in what?
USL League One. So in America, you've been over here, you know, there's all that.
Yeah.
So in America, you've got MLS. Then you've got MLS Next Pro, which is hard to really show where that goes in the pyramid, which is basically under 23s league now. Then you have USL Championship, USL League One, and then USL 2.
Okay, your club, from my time out there, your club was once like just a grassroots club. Is it still grassroots, or does it do everything?
I suppose it just depends on what you consider grassroots now. But they still have kids that will. Well, I mean, we have a recreation program, which is from kids from U3 through U6.
Yeah.
Then we'll have less committed teams. Then we have our second and third teams, which compete in the state league, which would be something similar to Sunday League, but on a much larger scale.
Yeah.
And then we have MLS Next on the boys' side, and then DPL on the girls' side.
Right. Okay. So once upon a time, Tormentor would have just been a state level team. So basically, over here, like a Sunday League or a Saturday League team, a grassroots football team.
Yeah.
Soccer team. And how? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Glad you said that. So how has your club got to that status?
So the USL 1 team came in. I think we started the USL 2 team in 2015. I think we got USL 1, which was a brand new 2018. When that happened, the boys' side also went in the NPL, which is another league. We competed really well back in, I think it was the year after COVID. We competed right at the top of most of them leagues. From there, a lot of them clubs kind of went MLS Next, or some of them went ECNL.
Right. So for all intents and purposes, so like a local club around here, I don't know, Camden Cockerels, right? They're a bog standard grassroots club with, I don't even know if they've got an adult first team, but for all intents and purposes, if they were able to, via the US model, they could grow, have a first team, enter the first team into a pretty prestigious league, which isn't obviously the Premier League, but enter them into a Midland Football League. That's what they have over here. And all of a sudden, the youth program could field teams to go and play against the Cobb Academy. That's basically what Tormentor have done.
Yeah.
That would never happen here. Never.
Yeah.
Never in a million years.
It's good. It's not always good when you get to go and play them. You know, over here is probably even further away. Like, they've just opened up the recruitment rules now. So in theory, Atlanta United's in the same state as us and South Carolina and Charlotte FC, sorry. But they can now recruit from the whole of the country. So they have
there's no state lines or anything like that.
Not anymore, no. There was until January of this year, and then January this year they opened it all up.
So Charlotte FC can recruit from San Francisco.
Yeah. So we've got a player
going at kid level, at child level.
Yeah. We have a player this year. Miami.
From what age?
They can only start it at, I believe it is November of their U14 year. I could be wrong on that.
U14.
Yeah.
What the f is going on there? Yeah, that's changed since I was there.
I don't know. Like, I don't mind it. it sounds a little bit like it's crazy because you're going away from family and everything else, but like
Yeah, massively, mate. That's like a 6-hour flight across the country, innit?
Yeah, but what they provide you is crazy.
Yeah, but
Like
the
the
kids,
stuff
mate.
that goes on. I know, but they're getting so like for example, the lad that goes to Inter Miami,
Yeah.
he'll train every morning from 10 until 11:30. He'll have breakfast at the facility.
Yeah.
Afterwards, he'll then go into an online school program that they pay for. They educate them, and then after that, they'll train again in the evenings. They'll pay for everything. They'll go on flights. They'll pay for that. They'll pay for their boots. They'll train
Okay,
right next.
What happens when this kid turns 18 and he's not good enough?
He'll go into the college system, or potentially into another pro environment, maybe.
There, well, he's going to have to stay there then, isn't he? He set up his life there.
No, because he's only. I mean, he's a little bit different. He's going to go and live with family.
Right.
But they put you into a residency program, so they'll either have a host family, or they will have boards that people will go and live at.
That is mental, mate. That model. I mean, surely football, soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, it's football, but yeah, costs a shed load. Like, I mean, when I was there, it was, I don't know, average prices for that age group, U14, you're looking at, I don't know, $1,200 for the grassroots like level. So that's $1,200 for just training, game fees. But obviously there's extras where the parents have to pay for hotels and whatnot. There's a team pot where parents have to contribute towards. Then you got to buy your kits, which are expensive. So tell us about that now, because it's been 3 years since I come back from there. What is an average cost now?
I can tell you what an average cost is.
Okay, so your club for the MLS program, the top program,
$2,700.
and that gets you what?
That gets you training, everything else. Then there's still travel on top of that, and the uniforms are on top of that. So we train 4 nights a week, an hour and a half. Within that, they'll also get. We're trying to improve what they're getting next year. But within that, they'll get a pre-game film every Friday, based on the opposition, what we've done at training, some things that we've done. They'll have a sports scientist that they'll be able to talk to. They'll also have a sports science program. They'll have education videos that we'll show them.
Okay,
so
what about the bog standard level then? The state level, the grassroots level, like our grassroots level?
So that would be around about 1,000. If you were doing the full year, because obviously high school's a little bit different here, which obviously once you go into the high school season, you only play for your club halfway through the year.
Yeah.
And then, so if you played for the full year, it'd be around about $1,400.
$1,400, and that's again just for training. And does that cover referees?
No, not for our club. Some clubs would, not our club. No.
Wait, so who pays that?
The parents.
So the parents have to. Jesus Christ! And then, again, this must still happen. There's a coaches like per diem, right? They have to also fund the coach for their travel and their hotel and all that.
On away trips, yeah.
Oh my God! So it's still.
It's around about an additional $600 afterwards for referees, VO.
So it's about $2,000 per player, $2,000 per player to play for a season.
Yeah.
What the hell? Yeah. And here, mate, yeah, like I think the Sky Blues program, theirs is like £42 a month. So over 8 months, I mean, it isn't even over £800. Yeah. And parents are like, that's way too expensive.
Yeah, I think it just like the harsh reality is like I live in a city that's smaller than it's the same size as Cov.
Yeah.
Got around about 14,000 people living in it.
Yeah.
And we have one turf field that we're able to use that everyone's trying to fight for. Whereas you compare that to Carv and you go, all right, we don't like President Kennedy anymore. Fine, we'll go and move to Finbars. It's 5 minutes down the road.
Yeah, but so mate, even that now, even that is becoming expensive, mate. Like everyone's whack. I know cost of living's had a massive part in this, but the cost of facilities is massive. Like Finbars, the teams that play for Finbars actually stopped training at Finbars because they put the price up so much. So they do the twilight hour, like between 4 and 5 p.m., something like that, after school on during the weeknights at PK because it's cheaper. So Finbars teams don't even train at Finbars. It's mental. It's mental. I mean, me and Will have had a discussion before about how football is becoming a rich person sport slowly.
Yeah, but I think everything over here is that way. Like, people will sit there and say football and all that other stuff, and granted, but it's some of our facilities would cost probably nearly $2,000 for a month to rent it for.
Yeah,
I don't know the ballpark figure, but like, it's expensive. Like, to rent a field for an hour would probably be close to $100.
That is mental. That's mental.
Like,
which is why obviously
even
your costs have to go up.
Yeah, even referee fees. Like, I don't know what you're paying for a referee at the minute, but we had a game the other day.
30,
it was $170 per team
for a ref and 2 ARs.
And a fourth official, the level that we were playing.
And a fourth official, Jesus Christ. Okay, so your youth level, which is
most will only have 3 referees. That's at USL Academy level, which is another league that we participate in. But
that was one thing, mate. That was one thing I do always compare about my time over there. Like, here, your grassroots level, and we're going to go on to the facilities because obviously we've kind of gone into that cost of the facilities. But we rock up to a game on a Saturday morning, and it's, standard pitch, grass pitch. Goal mouths are a little bit beat up. Goal nets need to be put on. The respect rope needs to be put out. Corner flags are missing the flags off them. And your referee turns up probably 10 minutes before kickoff, does his routine checks, and off we go. We have to get parents to run the line. Whereas there, it was always ref and 2 ARs. Now, there was times where, someone would have to fill in because the AR was coming from a different pitch, or Lino was coming from...
You still AR?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. I still have that. Yeah, I still say it, me, AR. But he comes from a different pitch because he's had back-to-back games. But there, mate, from what I remember, there was never that. You get to your pitch, it's set up, it's ready to rock and roll, and the officials are there.
Yeah, it all depends. I mean, at our level, a little bit, they'll play back-to-back games, but they'll be on the same field. So typically for our level, we'll have 6 games going on in a day, 3 on one field, 3 on another, and they'll be spread out. So there'll be a little bit of time in between. But the first game, the referee has to be there an hour before.
And is that still the same at state level? Obviously, your level, you've got to have those referees there because of the level it is. But at state level, in the PMSL or the Challenge Cup or whatever it is you're playing in these days, is it still the same there? 3 officials for certain age groups?
Yeah, even at U11, U12, 3 officials.
Never over here, mate.
The price a little bit different, but like, you're paying nearly $100 for the referee in the middle of the field.
But that's what I mean. Like, it's massively expensive over there. Like, the parents would not do that here. If you said, look, you don't have to run the line, but you've got to pay an extra 50 quid a week for your kid to play, like, or not, well, not 50 quid, but an extra 50 quid a season to cover the referee costs, they ain't doing it. They ain't doing it, mate. There's no way. They're happy just paying their 5 quid a week subs at Sunday League, or they're, potentially playing for an elite program that's going to get you into an academy for £42 a month, but there's no guarantees of that. And even that's expensive to them. Yeah, that's mad. That's mad. Yeah, the facilities over here, mate. I mean, we can say about Sydney Stringer and PK and these different turf facilities, but they are all getting battered proper. Like, Bluecoat now is shocking. Sydney Stringer, shocking. No nets on any of the goals.
Really?
Yeah, and they've done trials there. Like, a club or a program that's meant to be, the elite player pathway for Cov, have done trials at a venue without nets on goals. Like, that's how much they don't care. Like, I know at your club, and it was at the same at my club in the US, when there's tryout season coming up, we'll have a format. Right, this is what we're all doing. This is what it looks like from U7, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is. Here, just rock up and have a game, mate. Rock up, have a game, and that's it.
Yeah, I think the professionalism over here is a lot higher.
Yeah, 100%.
I think people are hiding it. I mean, you'll never go to a field without a net on it. Like, even if there was a hole in a net over here, I'd be like, whoa, you have to fix the hole.
Yeah.
Like, no corner flags. I'd be like, haven't you got a flag?
Yeah.
But like, I think the professionalism over here is really good. Like, you go to a field and you notice that certain things aren't out, you kind of turn your eye at it. Like, going back home and everything else. Like, there's always that comment, wow, I mean, you must have played on a park field when you were younger. But yeah, but it's not the same.
Yeah,
just because I didn't fight, like, so. But I do think the professionalism over here is really good.
So the professional would be decent. My memory of coaches, mate, and I'm going to use the term, I believe a lot of them are cowboy coaches. People wearing silly hats, talking utter shite. I remember one game in particular. We actually lost the game when I was at Discoveries, when they were called that. And we lost the game 3-1, well against the run of play, caught us on 3 counter-attacks. We had all the ball, and he encouraged his team.
Sounds like a lot of your games. I've never
seen he encouraged the team, once they got that third goal, to literally boot it over the fence. Like, he is coaching this team at U12 at the time to just boot it. Listen, Tommy, just boot it over the fence, man. They got to go and get it. Like, that's what he's telling these kids. Surely that ain't happening anymore.
I hope not. I wouldn't. I've seen some things. I mean, my funniest memory ever was still, we had a 0-4, and it was still without, I hope I never see anything worse. And this team's turned up, they only had 5 players. And he was like, I got another kid on the way, so that'll make it 11. I'm like, it'd be 10, mate. And he'd be like, nah, because I'm going to play. I'm like, what? He goes, he gets a kit off, bandana on. It was like an 0-4 league. It didn't really matter. It was like a developmental league. Mate, we played with 10. The team were that bad. And even when the kid got there, he carried on. We were winning like 8-0 when he was like, last goal wins. I was just like, what is going on here? I told the kids they weren't allowed to tackle him. But so one of the players come over and apologised to me. Well, I'm sorry about our coach. But I was, without a doubt, was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Did you, obviously, your level now, your level now obviously is going to have decent gaffers because you're coaching at a pretty prestigious level, pretty high level. You would expect that every club is going to hire a decent level coach, or not even about the level, but a decent coach nonetheless.
Yeah.
At the state level, are there still what I perceived as the Cowboys, the guys that do not care about anything development, probably don't even really know the game. They just do it because their kid did it a few years back, and they're just doing it just for the crack?
I'd say it's probably less, but it definitely happens. At least my experience, like I said, it's hard because my time gets so roped up with the level that I'm at.
Yeah.
I watch 3 or 4 games. Granted, some of the 3 or 4 games that'll go out, some coaches will be good, some coaches won't. Same as at high school, you know, they'll say stuff, it'll be cringeful, and I'm like, really? But like I said, at the top level, it's pretty good. There's some clubs that I still question a little bit about the professionalism and how they go about the business. I mean, I had to change a lot in terms of my moaning at referees and everything else. When
he was terrible. Then, absolutely terrible, weren't you?
Yeah.
Ref! But then it turned, and you tried to still scream at them, but to make it sound nice, you went, sir!
Yeah, it wasn't good. Yeah. Too emotionally invested in the game.
Yeah. Mate, talking about emotionally invested, mate, my little boy went football Saturday club. Yeah, and you know he's 5 now, yeah?
Oh, so I've seen that. It was a questionable dive at the end.
It definitely wasn't a dive, was it? He got cropped, clearly. That's where I nearly lost my head, right? So, no, fully, mate, nearly. I had to turn away and everything. So, we've been practicing in the garden. So, obviously, normally, he just kind of runs out of play, just anywhere, aimlessly, right? But now he's took the touch outside, then cut inside. I'm like, oh my God. And then he's got cropped, and I've gone, ref. I mean, ooh. I literally went ref and then stopped myself. Oh, mate, he's 5. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I let myself down. You're going
to be that dad, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't want to be, though. I really don't want to be. But, yeah, mate, it's fun watching him play, though. Definitely fun watching him play. But,
looks quick, by the way.
He is quite quick, mate. Quick. He has got a bit of a turn of pace. But, obviously, I know about the league structure over there, right? So you've got the state level league and then obviously your level. What I found is it's a very diluted market because you've got so many different leagues and so many different entities, and every club being a part of a different league and a different setup. Some ran by US soccer, some ran by US club soccer, and then it just diluted the market. Is that still a thing?
It is. I do now think though the best players are going to the best places, at least across the board. There might be a couple that maybe don't go and play, but the reality is, so there's MLS Next, there's ECNL. Me personally, MLS Next better than ECNL, but I'm not getting into that in a whole. There's not much difference. The bottom teams in MLS Next are definitely probably exactly the same as the bottom teams in ECNL, and the middle teams in MLS are probably not as good as the top teams in ECNL.
So the MLS, that's got to be US soccer.
I don't know.
Surely. It's the MLS.
Yeah, but even US soccer isn't what you think US soccer is. Like, US soccer isn't actually US soccer.
What?
Like, the US soccer branch that was like NPL.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the same body as that does the national team.
Oh my God. So who are the governing bodies of all these leagues that just get popped up? Because from my knowledge, you've got the ECNL, you've got NPL, you've got all these different acronyms, and they were all registration had to go through US club soccer, like the GPSB team.
US soccer.
Right.
So I think technically we go under the USYS route. Mm-hmm. We have our own governing body. It probably is US soccer, but it's run by MLS. So it's run by the organisation that runs MLS. We have the same guidelines that a pro player will have. If one of our players was to use a banned term to racially abuse a player, they get the exact same suspension that a pro player would get. We have to educate players the exact same way. Like, we have to sit down, show them exactly what's going on. These are the words you're not allowed to say. Words that I didn't even know existed. And I'm like, do we really have to teach these to kids? But they're like, no, we have to. Like, okay. But genuinely, that's the same. Even at U13, if a U13 player was to call someone the M-word, he would get a 6-month suspension.
Wow. Do you think that's enough?
Well, they would never play for us again.
Right, yeah. Crazy.
We unfortunately had with a parent who racially abused a player from the opposite team.
So that is an MLS rule. If a player playing for Inter Miami called a player playing for New York Red Bulls the N-word, it'd be a 6-month ban. That is their rule. Wow.
Yeah. Would have to be proven. Of
course.
But yeah.
Wow.
We had a parent, unfortunately, racially abused a player.
A parent?
Yeah.
What age was that?
He was 17.
A parent?
He got removed within the next. We reported it to the league, went through all the right protocols, and before they even gave our suspension, player was removed.
Mental.
There was no
parents still proper mad out there, though.
Yeah.
You wanted to think about that, but
not as bad as they maybe was. It gets better, but they're passionate, and I wouldn't say it's not as.
I feel like it's entitlement. It's getting similar over here, mate, because they're paying more for it now, and it's not just £2 a week subs, because they're paying a standing order, a direct debit, whatever it is. They feel like their child is entitled to something. I don't know what that is, but they're entitled to something just because they're paying for the product.
I mean, it makes it hard. Like, they obviously pay for us. They don't pay for Inter Miami. So Inter Miami, if a kid was to, all right, you got another kid to come in. But for us, it's a considerable amount of money. It's something that my parents wouldn't pay. I think educating the parents in terms of what's acceptable and what's not, making sure you have them guidelines out, and then going from there. But if I'm paying for a product, I expect a certain level of service. I think if you're getting a certain level of service, I think it's fair. If your kid you don't think's getting any minutes, I think it's fair to come over and ask, maybe in the right time. We have protocols in place that goes, right, the player should first ask. If we haven't gave them, then and it's hard. But I think if you're paying that much money and your kid's getting 10, 15 minutes a game, why wouldn't you ask?
Yeah, mate, it seems like that, as you said about the organisation and professionalism, it seems like the US is still, even from my time there, mate, it's still miles ahead of here. Like, there's clubs that use VO, there's some clubs that don't use VO. I mean, your standard week is a video session, an analysis session. I know when we've spoke about, I've got my team meeting before a tournament or a game, and we've got to go through video footage and all this kind of stuff. Like, it's proper, like, we're treating these lads for we're educating these lads for the next level, not just teaching them now for now what they're going to encounter in the next stage and next level of their football careers. But over here, mate, it just doesn't really happen like that. And that's what's always made me think. I mean, the current crop of England players have got a real good chance this Euros, but it's always made me think that the US will win a major tournament before England do because of the system.
I don't know about that. I mean, I'm an England fan. I think we have a really good chance at the next Euros and the next World Cup. I'm not saying we'll win it, but I don't think the US will be ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
After that World Cup, could happen. You know, we have a generation, I'm going to say it this way because that's how it's pronounced, Generation Adidas Cup. And they have teams from all across the world come in. They'll have the MLS clubs, so the proper MLS clubs, we can't play in it. So it'll be your New York Red Bulls, your Inter Miami, United, all that. And then Man United come in, Real Madrid, some from South America. Chelsea was in there, Arsenal at different age groups. The semi-final was all American.
Wow. Wow.
And a finalist ever since COVID, which is when this league started, the winner has always been an American team.
And these clubs are bringing over their academy teams on tour.
Man United don't have a second team, do they?
Yeah, no, but you'd hope it wasn't like, you know, Man United's development squad like Carv.
Well, are you going to pay for all them to get on a plane and do everything else?
True.
I know, for example, they still have it. The Dallas Cup was quite prestigious. I mean, I know that we had friends that coached in that, and Chong was playing in it. He played for Man United.
Wow.
Obviously, there was probably others, but he's one that always stands out because of his hair.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd imagine it's their proper teams that are coming over.
Wow. So what do you think it is? Because America's massive, mate. It's huge, right? And if you think about how many kids are now playing soccer, it's a lot. It's a lot. And if you think the level of professionalism, how the sport has grown, I mean, with the latest arrival of Messi coming into Miami, and obviously Beckham kickstarted all of that, and then it kind of spread and grew and grew. What is stopping the US being a driving force? Is it still the sports that they have available and all the athletes get taken to different sports, or is it because the league structure is shit?
I think it was shit. I don't think it is anymore.
Why?
Because they've changed everything. Like the MLS, like I just said, the MLS teams are now competing against them teams at youth levels.
Yeah, I know, but the MLS is still like, if you come 8th, you make the playoffs and you can still win it all.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the elite level. I'm talking about kids. So
yeah, I'm saying, is that where they fall short? They create all these kids that are coming through and they're dominating these younger years and now, but then they get into the mainstream and they kind of lose that hunger. They're made pro contract. They can finish 8th, but it don't really matter because I'm still in the playoffs anyway. They haven't got that real driving edge anymore to come 2nd or 3rd.
But a lot of these players are going abroad. So USL championship player, he has just signed, I think it was for a team in Portugal for like 1.8 million. That was a USL championship side.
Wow.
There's more and more players going abroad from from MLS clubs now. They'll sign their pro contract at 18 or 16, 17. Like there's kids playing in the MLS now that are 15 years old.
So you don't think the overall elite level MLS league structure is a problem?
Yeah, I do think relegation and promotion needs to happen. Whether or not it will is different.
Too much money involved. Has to be.
Yeah, maybe. Obviously, you pay to go and be an MLS club, and you pay a certain amount to be a USL Championship club, and you pay a certain amount to be a USL 1 team. There is patience, to my knowledge, that they do want to implement it. Whether or not how that will happen and when it will happen, whether it will be 2 MLS leagues and 2 USL leagues, and the promotion and relegation there. Technically speaking, once again, they're 2 separate entities. The USL and MLS have no involvement with each other. Even though there's a pyramid, there's 2 different entities, which, to be fair, same as England. The Premier League isn't the same as the Football League.
Yeah, but yeah, it's not. But you can get promoted from the Football League into the Premier League.
I know, but I'm just saying there's more of an understanding there. But the Premier League.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
They're 2 separate things when it comes to meeting and what they want to implement and everything else. and the Football League kind of just suit. But it would be good if you had promotion and relegation. The hard part is I don't think Mexico do. There's certain other countries also in South America that I don't think have relegation and promotion.
It's mad because it's kind of all we know, really.
Yeah.
But hold on. But the weirdest thing is, I've just thought about that. They do at youth level. If you come bottom of the Challenge Cup League, you're going into the PMSL next season.
Only them though. ECNL, there's no promotion relegation. There's no promotion relegation.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there is qualify for the playoffs, so you want to get there. You know, and at no point, like, granted, it'd be different at the MLS because technically you get the first draft, but I don't think that really matters much at MLS.
Right.
I know at basketball this year there was a lot going on in terms of investigation to make sure that teams weren't losing games, so they could get that French lad that come over. He's meant to be the thing for years. So they were like right at the start of the season, apparently had this meeting that goes, we look like teams are purposely losing here to make sure you get that superstar for the next 3 years. Like, you'll be investigating and you'll move down the draft order.
Wow.
But yeah, it's hard.
Crazy.
But, I mean, everyone playoffs. Everyone does.
Well, since we're on the subject of organisations and how, you know, clubs and countries are set up with promotion relegation, their league structure, if you like. Saudi Arabia, let's get on to that. What are you making of all this stuff?
It's hard for me. I think if it was somewhere else, people wouldn't moan. Because it's Saudi Arabia, everyone wants to moan about it. I think there's a little bit of an underlying racial issue to that. Yeah, always. I understand there's other things that go into it, but there's always a moan when it's Saudi Arabia or the World Cup going to Qatar. The World Cup going, granted, Russia's obviously done bad stuff since, but the World Cup going to Russia and everything else. And I mean, your dad said it was incredible. Your dad went to Qatar, said it was incredible.
Yeah.
And I always feel like everybody wants to keep it here. Whereas they don't want somebody else going to go and excel. Like, why not? Granted, I don't think I worry about it long term.
Yeah.
Because they have endless amounts of money. And I worry about
but I think that like this sports washing thing that seems to be the trending term at the minute. But it's true. If you think, right, boxing's gone there. Like a massive heavyweight fight now is by and large, unless, you know, there's an American fighter in it, by and large, it's going to Saudi Arabia. And then the golf.
But don't we all do that? We'll have we'll have Wimbledon at London every single year, or at Wimbledon. You know, we want to hold heavyweight boxing at Wembley because you can get 90.
But that's the thing we created. We created Wimbledon, so we hold it in Wimbledon every year. Whereas the PGA Tour was never in Saudi Arabia. So Live Golf, Saudi Arabian backed, started their own thing, started pulling all these golfers away from money. All of a sudden, PGA are thinking, what's going on here? And then they have to merge. So Live won that. So they've now got a massive hand in golf. And Saudi Arabia, I mean, do they even have golf courses over there? Or have they just jumped on it?
Maybe they wanted to, and PGA wouldn't let them be involved. Maybe they're like, look, we want to bring some golf events here. We'd love to hold a huge event here that we'll give this purse. And they're like, no, we don't know what's happened behind the scenes. They maybe just wanted to do 3 events a year and gone, look, we'll pay the winner $20 million. And they're like, no, because that's more than you get to win the Masters. They're like, yeah, but we want to make sure people will come here. And they're like, no, we're not doing that. And then all of a sudden they're like, all right, fine, we'll start our own thing. We'll pay everyone ridiculous amounts of money and we'll back it. You don't know what goes on.
It is a worry. It is a worry seeing all these players. What's it now? 7 players are now over there that we know of, like Koulibaly and Kante and Benzema, Ronaldo, Hakim Ziyech just gone.
Yeah, like, but if they offered you treble your amount of wages, wouldn't you go?
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
4 years, you're 34. You can be back here by the time you're 40 and and pay for a house in cash. Would you not do it?
Yeah, when you put it into simple terms like that, yeah, but like, who's watching it? Like, why? What? Like, if I'm, you know, Benzema, like, I've not long won the Ballon d'Or. Even Ronaldo, like, I've not long played for Man United. I'm talking about I want to play in the Champions League, and then I go to a league that at that time no one was talking about. I don't even know if the games are televised. I've not seen any televised. Like to watch them, you just see clips on social media. Why, as potentially one of the greatest players of all time, would I go over there just to earn money? I'm already loaded. I'm already gonna be set for life. What's the point?
So let's go back to my first point when I said the racial undertones to it.
Yeah.
Nobody said that Beckham went to America. Everywhere, Beckham really helped kickstart that. Messi's now there. Messi's going to earn ridiculous amounts. Granted, not the same, but all of a sudden you go into America, you're like, wow, really trying to grow the game in that country. But then when it's here, it's like, oh, they're sport washing, they're doing this, they're doing that, because that's what we see in the media. That's what's thrown down our throat every single day. I'm not like,
yeah, it is, but I don't think America didn't take it too far. Like China didn't. China went for footballers. Yeah, America went for footballers, but they didn't start saying, right, we want to host every single boxing event and we're going to pay copious amounts. They had boxing events. I get that, and it's usually because there's a lot of decent American boxers, so they did it in Vegas or whatever. But they didn't start going, right, we want to start another golf brand called the American Tour, and we are the only ones that can run it. So PGA, we're going to sack you off and we're going to get all your golfers to come and play golf for us. The PGA Tour is worldwide. It's renowned.
There's a 32 club World Cup happening next summer in the US. Very first one. They have just created a brand new tournament and brought it to the US.
No. The US ain't getting that.
Yeah. 2025.
Well, then there's obviously some. Yeah, but isn't there one going on this year?
That's different. That's the normal World Club Championships.
Which is going on in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, which is normally the 18. But it's always over there. It's only now because Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
it's always over there.
Yeah.
But now they're having a 32 Club World Cup in preparation for the World Cup in the US. They'll be hosted, and once again, it's more competition, it's more games for the players, and everyone's going to moan that we shouldn't have a World Cup every year, or let's not do one every year, but they're doing something every summer anyway now.
Yeah, true.
You know, we've had Nations League, we've had this, you've had that. But I'm in a belief that why not have a World Cup every 2 years? I sit there now and we've gone to all this in terms of it's too many games, it's too many. If I live until I'm 80, I only have 20 chances of England being a World Cup champion. 20 chances. Why not do it every 2 years? It's great. I don't think it will ruin it. Like,
so what are you saying, sack off the Euros?
Could do.
Shite in it, really.
I mean, it's different for different nations, but I mean, the African Cup of Nations happen every 2 years. The Gold Cup in the US, in North America happens every 2 years. Copa America happens every 2 years. It's only us that do everything every 4 years.
Yeah,
I looked at the major competition winners, and Argentina, Brazil. I mean, US are in the top 5 because of the Gold Cup and the Nations League are considered major competitions. So they've now got 11 of them.
Wow.
We're sitting there saying, well, will they win a major competition? Well, they've got 11 of them. We've got 1.
True.
You know, and
I wouldn't want to see a young player go there. So, for example, imagine in a wild turn of events, Kylian Mbappe ends up at Al Hilal. I think that'd ruin football, mate. I think it would open the door to everyone going there. Like if he can go there at 20.
But we did the same thing with the Premier League. We created the Premier League, made it this whole media-driven, everything else, televised everywhere. Before that, there was no foreign players playing in England. You know, you look back at the squads, look where it is now. You know, like what's the difference there?
True, that's true. Yeah, what you're saying is true. It's okay when we start. It's okay when it started here because we then kind of run it. But now someone else is trying to take a bit of the pie. Everyone's kicking off about it. Yeah, I get what you mean. And to be fair, it's the same voices that also kicked off about the Super League.
Yeah.
It's the same people that are arguing about the sports washing, the same people that kicked off about the Super League. But yeah. Well, what do you think to Rice? Looks like Man City could hijack that deal. If he goes, because I've just put a video out about this, if he goes there, does he turn into Calvin Phillips? Is he getting in ahead of Rodri and Stones because he's playing him now in a more centre midfield role?
I think Declan Rice is considerably better than Calvin Phillips.
I agree.
I think it's an interesting one. I think it makes more sense for him to go to Man City, only for his own legacy. I look at somebody that's a West Ham legend and he's going to a rival. I don't get it.
If he doesn't go to Man City, is it because he thinks he won't play?
I don't know. I think he's quite confident. I mean, Calvin Phillips thought he was going to get a game.
Oh, yeah, bless him.
But I think if Declan Rice goes there, I think Calvin Phillips will go to Arsenal.
Interesting.
Place for Calvin Phillips once Declan Rice goes there. Does depend on what they plan on doing. Stones had a good season, but at the minute they only have one centre midfielder.
Oh, the midfielder, yeah, Rodri.
You got Rodri and Calvin Phillips because you just lost Gundogan.
Yeah, Gundogan's gone Barca.
Mad that. Yeah.
Fair play. But yeah, well, mate, look, it's been a pleasure. We've been going on for a while here. We've gone off on a tangent from the US stuff to what's happening in the news today. But I fully appreciate it, mate, for sparing your time and coming on and sharing some experiences from the US.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Nice one, mate. Take care.
Right,